I'm Sam, this is Art Loud, this is an AI background, and this is AI music. Just to prove that background is real. Oh, it's all getting a bit close to home, isn't it? Even last year it was easy to spot AI. Now it's not so easy. But the delusion that what you were watching before AI was real is what I want to address in this video. Is GFX real? Is model making real? Are the narratives in reality TV real? Because even before AI, things have not been real for a while. I mean, I color graded the background to look like this, but I could have made it look like this, or like this. Is anything real? My name's Sam, this is Art Loud, and for now, I hope you can believe that I'm real. I can do all the things that move in a way that makes it seem like I'm real, because if I'm releasing this in a couple of years' time, I don't think you're going to be able to be so sure. And does that matter? If you want to be involved in these discussions about art, philosophy, and the changing landscape of creativity, join the Out Loud Patreon. I've got some cool tiers based on the patrons of Van Gogh. As for defining what's real, let's go back a step. So last month, I was cycling around town, half listening to Black Sabbath as an ode to Ozzy Osbourne, and I cycled past a record store, and they had a sign up saying, "Listen to real music." Went up to the window and they were selling vinyl. Was what was on my headphones not real? But it made me laugh because I get it. The nature of vinyl has a mechanical element. Seems more real than streaming, but it isn't. Yes, it might have higher fidelity and technically sound better, but it's 100% artificial. It replicates the sound of pre-recorded music. Ozzy is dead. I'm not directly listening to him on vinyl or MP3, but we've all grown up with recorded sound. We don't really ever question how historically weird it is to witness the dead. Now we are trying to wrap our head around AI artists that never existed at all. The great British documentarian Adam Curtis recently highlighted this on how we've become so accepting of the recording in this retro revival reliving of the past that we have become stuck by it and are unable to move forward.
Well, I've got this theory that entertainment has become something else.
Oh, great, go on.
Now, I'm part of the problem as well. Because we are continually replaying the past.
Because there's so much recorded data
So
now.
much recorded data. They keep on adding to the fog of experience and they won't go away.
Yeah.
Which means that actually we are stuck forever. I just wonder whether in, 50 years' time, they'll look back and they say, they just wanted to stay with the dead. You know, they were frightened of the future. That's what I think people will say.
Just stop and think about it. 150 years ago, there was a world without any recorded images, any recorded videos, or any recorded sound. How that transition from nothing to something must be way more freaky than this one we are having now about AI. Imagine hearing the ghost of someone played back to you for the very first time. Would it not seem like you had trapped their soul? Invented in the late 19th century, the phonograph was the earliest form of commercial record, and the resistance it got then is fascinating when paired with the resistance of AI in the music industry today. There were many attacks on this canned music, as they called it. In the 1906 essay, The Menace of Mechanical Music, critics warned that phonographs would soon substitute human skill, intelligence, and soul. It predicted the demise of music making, collapse of jobs, and the deterioration of human intimacy. They made all these cartoons that joked, will the Spanish cavalier abandon his guitar and serenade his lover with a phonograph under his arm? Will a mother stop singing bedtime lullabies and let the infant be put to sleep by machinery? The fear around mechanical music was so great. Newspapers predicted a future where a man is shocked to see a person playing a piano with his hands. They worried then that recordings would decrease royalties and threaten composers' rights, ripping off those who made the original music and making money with these replicas of their work with no fair reimbursement to the original artists. Many of these problems do still exist today in the music industry, but a whole new industry did boom from the invention of canned music. Perhaps The fear around canned music, ruining music, seems silly to us now, and hopefully we might be able to find that slightly reassuring. However, all the fear then was not unfounded. We have culturally long forgotten the social, local benefit that creativity has in bringing a community together. There were preschools where songs work as a pedagogical tool. There are karaoke bars where alcohol loosens inhibitions. And there are houses of worship where singing is devotion. Even there, old harmonized hymns have been abandoned for in unison voices. 150 years ago, I would likely have been way more musical just by my daily life. Workers sang, drinkers sang, local ballads were a thing. We have so much more music around us in recorded form, but less in reality. Music as a hobby is no longer a cultural expectation. And canned music did stunt amateurism in two quite important ways. Firstly, high quality recordings are intimidating, and I would say this is an effect that we have across all human efforts now, that we have a window into the very best of everything in the world. But the second one is the one I want to focus on. It's well established that music satisfies fundamental emotional, psychological, and social yearnings. Music is a vessel for something else. Yes, we can now go to huge gigs that our ancestors couldn't and enjoy it with the audience, but amplification does detach us from the performer. We can hear music from far-flung parts of the world, but not feel firsthand the cultures that produced them. To paint you a picture here, or rather to sing you a scenario, we have a piano in our old house, and a lodging flatmate knows how to play. Not brilliant, but well enough. The sound directly from the piano fills the room more than any piano recording could. But it wasn't that which made it feel real to me. She chooses when to play, navigates it around us. If you've ever been fortunate enough to go to an intimate concert or even a play, and you need to say cough, if you were watching it on TV, you wouldn't have a care at all. And in a cinema, you'd likely be sensitive to interrupting some of the audience members, but in a live and acoustic upfront thing, even if it's just in the background, you need to worry about the performer. You are involved in a much more real way. You're a part of it. You can't just switch it off or dismiss it without a thought of their feelings, even just as a listener, let alone the joint activity of playing together. If you're having a great chat at a party and someone starts playing a guitar and then someone else starts singing and everyone's kind of forced to listen, it can be torturous. But when it's natural and it holds the room, there is an attention that no group of humans would ever give a set of speakers. You will, of course, have very fond memories of recorded music, like I do, with a self-experience or with a friend or even fellow ravers or clubbers. And that can be a wonderful bonding thing. But the artist is separated. Our ancestors didn't have these barriers. They made music to connect. They danced to connect. They made art to connect. Let's return to painting again for a second. If you try to paint a landscape, a person, or a place, trust me, even if it's awful, you will find yourself more at peace with your understanding of that subject. Even if you try to draw a picture of your dog, you may notice some cool little markings around their muzzle that you never noticed before, or how they twitch just before they wake up or move. And in doing so, it's often unfortunate that you're left with this picture because it's actually a form of kind of meditation between you and what you're concentrating on. Think now about your favorite song, about an internationally famous artist. And you may say that nothing hits you harder than that no amateur could ever compete. Well, I truly believe that if you lived 200 years ago, you would have a much greater connection to the local lady singing in a tavern, even if her voice wasn't as good, the lyrics as clever, or the songs as interesting, because you likely knew her life, her anxieties, what drove her to make the music, the people it was about, that community. It isn't about the quality of the music alone. And most creative people do know this. But if you were creatively talented back then, in a tiny local community, you had no idea how to make money out of it. It simply wasn't an option, yet music was common. Dancing was more common. Drawing was more common. Creativity in general was more common. While we do all these things today and have more opportunities to access them than ever, we don't do them in the same way. Our ancestors wouldn't even put how we access them in the same category. They would say it isn't real. It is the benefit of the process and what comes piggybacked on these creative pursuits that's been fully lost in this intersection between recorded art and AI generated art. And as we are on this cliff edge, we need to remember that it was about the context of how it was performed, made or received. Take drawing in today's age. Tablets have become common for drawing. In all commercially creative pursuits, they are a necessity. If you want to draw and earn money from it, you pretty much need to do it on a tablet. But toddlers have no interest in drawing on a tablet. They want to navigate a tactile world, a crayon breaking, running out, how its energy is transferred. It goes over the paper and makes a mark on the table. They smudge it. It's on their hands. They might knock their drink over. The paper's wet now. They lift it. It tears. It doesn't disappear when a battery dies. It lives in the real world. There is no tangibility for a toddler on a tablet. And children have to learn the impact they can have on the world around them, just as, and I think we might need to relearn this lesson too. Imagine you are that small child and you don't know how to talk yet. You make a sound in reaction to what you see in the real world. Maybe dad did something funny. You smile. And the people around you react to your smile. You learn that you are a part of this scene, how real interactions work. There is a back and forth. Now, say you're that same child and you see something funny or moving on a tablet. You giggle hard. The character on the screen does not react back to you. What do you learn from that? And I think as we enter this age of AI, we're forgetting that most of us now, in how we experience art, are like that child. Hopefully, AI will actually break this, because while people understand that it isn't real, they don't really see how it hasn't been real for a while, and we've all got a little bit confused. So let's just clear this up by looking at a completely different art form, dance. That famous phrase, dance like no one's watching, I think everybody should do. But the reason people like watching dance and admiring it is because you share the same tool as the dancers, the human body. You appreciate the agility, the timing, the precision, the flexibility, the emotive expression. You think, oh my God, how do they do that? I know my body and I can't do that. Or how they twist like that. God, my knees would explode. It's inspiring. It's human. There is nothing a robotic dancer could do that would ever hit you on the same level as a human, because you share the flesh and bones, the same limitations as that performer. It's exactly how I feel about painting. The other day I saw a Renoir and I was astonished that he had captured the summer heat shimmering in a distant tree with these short, loose, confident wobbles of his brush. It captured the atmosphere perfectly. Could I do that? Well, I can use a paintbrush and have access to probably better mediums than he does, but I can't. I know that as a fellow human, I have that potential. Whether or not I have the talent, the eye, or the dedication is a different thing. And finally, to wrap this up and bring it back to music, it was pointed out to me how few bands there are in the charts now. And I think this is all tied up in the same thing. It's not just because you don't need a drummer or a bassist for your concept because you can make these sounds digitally. It's that bandmates are a mixed bag. They arrive late, they disagree with you, they go off to form a different band. The beauty of a band is that you have to navigate these other messy people, their desires, their tastes, their skill sets, their temperaments. Bands bring these imperfect people together. They collaborate, they compromise, and they find commonality. They share that, and it is felt. The flaws are what makes it the most human. All the messy bits about recording the perfect track that we now increasingly have used technology to solve, AI is coming along and it is taking out the most messy bit. Us. The Ozzy Osbourne in all of us, the oddness that isn't technically perfect. We might now just be waking up to the reality that it was the mess where all the beauty comes from in the first place. But AI can only learn from what it can access, and all that it can access is everything that we have canned over the last 100 years. So in a way, it's like the death howl of the past 100 years of canned creativity.
What AI is doing is taking it much further. It's actually going back to our own past. It's going back to our own images, our own language, the words we wrote, and it's just scraping it all, putting it all together in some strange, almost like cubist form, and playing back to us a world built out of that. It's the haunting, which makes me suspect, for which I have no evidence at all, is that AI is not the future. It's the final end of the past. It's the moment at which the past came for us. We will have to escape from it.
And if you want to see my thoughts on this interview with Adam Curtis, that's up on my Patreon now, by the time this has gone live. So do go and check that out. I'll see you on the next one.
Art Loud is the best YouTube channel. All the rest just fade to gray.